Welcome to the deep dive. If you're like us, you want the critical insights and, the aha moments from complex material, but you just don't have the time to wade through every single paragraph. Today, we have a fascinating stack of sources. It's a collection of reviews and notes on a really interesting piece of isekai fiction. The novel, The Isekai Hero with Only a Smartphone by Kusanagi Riku.
And our mission for you, the learner, is to quickly pull out the core brilliance of this book. The isekai genre, where, an ordinary person gets transported to a fantasy world, it's huge.
It's massive.
So why is this specific title being pretty much universally hailed as a refreshing take? We're here to give you that shortcut to understand how the author manages to deliver real character development, complex world building, and just some laugh-out-loud entertainment.
All without that information overload that can sometimes just bog down epic fantasy.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this immediately. We're talking about a genre that's built on grand swords, elemental magic, sudden epic power-ups.
The usual tropes, yeah.
And yet, our protagonist, Yuto Amano, is just an ordinary gamer. He's transported to the enchanting Kingdom of Elindor, and his supposed ultimate weapon.
What?
It's not the legendary blade forged by ancient dwarves. It's an obsolete, slightly cracked smartphone.
It's the ultimate mismatch, and that is just the engine for the entire story. What's so crucial here is that this isn't just a quirky detail, It's a brilliant constraint.
Right.
The sources all make it really clear that Yuto isn't just magically given infinite power, which is like the standard isekai move.
The easy way out.
Instead, he's given a tool that operates completely outside the local magical logic.
Right. If you've read any isekai, you know the hero usually gets some unique skill tied to the new world's rules. Yuto gets Google.
Or at least the cached data from his world.
Exactly. The notes point to this as the core twist. His device isn't just outdated. It has specific real-world limitations.
You mean we're talking battery life, no cell service, and only the information he happened to have stored on it. This technical constraint, it just elevates the whole premise from a simple joke to a resource management game.
That is where it gets really interesting, especially for tech enthusiasts and gamers. So how does he charge it? That's the first question I had.
The author handles this so well.
Yeah.
Instead of just, ignoring the physics of it all, the review mentions that Yuto has to learn to harness these low-level magical items.
Like mana crystals.
Specifically mana crystals, yeah.
Yeah.
He uses them as an improvised energy source. He basically creates a magical battery pack.
Ah, that's great.
And it immediately grounds the story, right?
Yeah.
It forces him to actually engage with the world's mechanics instead of just bypassing them with tech.
Yeah.
He literally has to risk dungeon crawls for crystals just to check his old Wikipedia entries.
But that completely shifts the power dynamic. He's not magically strong. He's just resourcefully intelligent. So let's talk about that ingenuity. What are some of the specific smartphone apps that the reviews highlight as being particularly clever or funny?
It's always the mundane apps that become God tier in this new context. For instance, the flashlight function. It's an immediate, powerful asset in a world lit only by torches.
Of course.
But the real game changer is the camera. Yuto uses it not just for pictures, but as a strategic tool. He's recording tactical movements in battles or documenting specific magical runes he can look up later.
I bet that's smart.
And the calculator app. The ability to calculate complex trajectories or resource ratios gives him this unparalleled edge in logistics and war planning.
So he's not fighting the final boss with the phone. He's using the phone to outthink the final boss's strategy. He's leveraging knowledge transfer.
Precisely. His experience as a gamer wasn't just about button mashing. It was about strategy, resource allocation, and pattern recognition. The smartphone becomes his real-time info source, and it transforms his casual gaming skills into genuine military and logistical acumen in Elindor. This is the heart of that refreshing take. The hero's power comes from applied knowledge, not from innate strength.
That's a really compelling reason for why the book is so highly rated. But, often in high-concept fiction like this, the character development can kind of suffer.
Sure, the gimmick takes over.
Exactly. So shifting gears, let's look at Yuto himself. He starts as this ordinary guy. How does the author make his transformation into a hero feel believable when he has this ultimate information tool?
The believability, I think, stems from his initial failures and his very human need for approval. He doesn't just master the world instantly.
Okay.
The sources really emphasize his relatability. We see him try and fail and even get mocked for his weird little brick. That makes his eventual success so much more satisfying than if he were just instantly competent.
So he grows.
He evolves from a guy who just wants to go home into a person who is determined to prove the value of his unique knowledge to this deeply skeptical magic council.
And that skepticism leads us right into the politics of it all. The review points out that there are these dark forces threatening to reclaim power in Elindor. So how does Yuto, the guy with the phone, get tangled up in that mess?
That's where Princess Elysia comes in. Their relationship is really the core of the narrative.
Okay.
She represents the new guard. She's the one person who is willing to look past the, superficial appearance of his magical brick. The kingdom's established council sees the phone as either a joke or, even worse, dangerous foreign magic.
But Elysia sees its potential.
She's intelligent enough to understand that Yuto's ability to predict enemy movements or rapidly calculate defense structures is invaluable, even if she has no idea how the phone actually works.
So the core tension isn't just Yuto fighting monsters, it's Yuto fighting bureaucracy and tradition. It sounds like a really compelling partnership that's rooted in, strategic trust.
Absolutely. The tension pops up when Yuto uses the phone for something wild-like, say, using a stored satellite map to plot the most efficient defensive perimeter.
And the council freaks out.
They immediately accuse him of tampering with fate or something, so their evolving relationship is built on her protecting his methods while he uses his tech to save her kingdom.
It's not just about the leads, though. I think we need to talk about the supporting cast, because in a world where magic and tech are colliding, the reactions of the other characters have to be gold.
Oh, they are critical. They're critical for the world building and for the humor. The supporting cast is described as really well-rounded, and each one gives you a unique lens to view the smartphone through.
Like what?
For example, there's this very traditional old court wizard who is absolutely convinced that the device is powered by tiny trapped fire demons.
I love that.
Then you have a young blacksmith apprentice who is just fascinated by the screen technology and keeps trying to take the phone apart to see how it works.
That's fantastic. You can just picture the scene where Yuto is desperately trying to explain what a circuit board is to them.
And this blend of reactions keeps the world feeling dynamic, and it stops a phone from becoming too serious of a plot device.
It maintains that lighthearted quality.
It does. The comedy doesn't come from slapstick, it comes from that cultural and technological gap. Trying to explain a search engine to someone who believes all knowledge is in dusty tomes is just inherently funny. But it also reminds you of the immense power Yuto holds.
Okay, let's transition now to the actual reading experience. This is crucial for our audience who, needs knowledge delivered efficiently. How does Kusanagi Riku maintain that balance between rich world building and avoiding the dreaded info dump?
The writing style is genuinely praised across the board as approachable and straightforward. And pacing is key. The author doesn't get bogged down explaining the intricate history of every single magical faction.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Instead, the world is sort of revealed organically, driven by Yuto's immediate needs. If Yuto needs to know about a certain type of mana crystal, then we learn about that part of Elindor.
That makes a lot of sense. The structure kind of mirrors a quest log in a video game. You only unlock the lore you need for the immediate task.
Exactly that. The descriptions of Elindor are vivid, they paint a great picture, but they're concise. The momentum is consistently fueled by Yuto having to leverage his smartphone in new, creative ways to get past whatever the chapter's challenge is.
It creates a nice rhythm.
A very satisfying rhythm. The steady introduction of technological problem-solving keeps you engaged and keeps the narrative moving at a brisk pace.
I can see how that structure perfectly feeds the humor we were just talking about. It's that constant clash of, high fantasy and low battery life?
That's right. The author deftly blends these lighthearted, almost absurd moments with the very serious political undertones.
Is there a good example of that?
Yeah, there's one mentioned in the review. Yuto's trying to find a high-altitude vantage point, and he pulls out a weather app on his phone, which is, of course, totally useless because he has no connection.
Right.
And then a local wizard just instantly predicts the weather perfectly, better than his $800 device.
That's the kind of subtle humor that makes the world feel real. It's not just that the phone is powerful, it's that it's also contextually useless sometimes, which forces Yuto to respect the magical world he's actually in.
It creates a vital balance. The comedic relief stops the tension of the rising dark forces from getting too heavy. But those serious plot points make sure the comedy has real stakes.
So we laugh at his struggle to find a charger.
But we remember that if that battery dies, he loses the ability to save the princess.
Okay, so synthesizing all of this, who is the ultimate audience here? Beyond the usual isekai and fantasy fans, who else really benefits from picking this up?
The reviews all highlight a specific connection for gamers, especially people who appreciate strategic RPGs and also tech enthusiasts who would just enjoy watching engineering principles get applied to a medieval setting.
So if you love stories where the hero uses lateral thinking and logic instead of just raw strength, this is for you.
Pretty much, yeah.
And if we look back at that overall assessment, the 5 out of 5 stars, it feels earned. It feels earned because the novel delivers on its high-concept promise, but also provides superior execution in character and pacing. It's more than just a gimmick.
It really is a fully realized theme. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the novel is making a statement on the nature of heroism and power.
How so?
It proves that the most powerful tool you have isn't always the one that was designed for the job. The story blends the ordinary, a retired piece of consumer tech, with the extraordinary circumstances of a fantasy kingdom. It's profoundly empowering. It shows that even someone who feels unremarkable with what seems like a mundane tool can find their place and succeed.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive today. We've seen how the isekai hero with only a smartphone is a success story because it takes this relatable, almost obsolete piece of tech and turns it into the source of genuine character growth, political ingenuity, and just some really unexpected humor. It fundamentally changes the resource dynamic of the whole genre.
And that leaves us with one final provocative thought for you to consider. Being a hero doesn't always require grand magical powers or epic resources. Sometimes the most powerful asset is the sheer utility of the mundane. So think about a tool you take for granted today. Your basic spreadsheet software, your calculator, the ability to rapidly search for information. If you were dropped into an unfamiliar, extraordinary world, which of those outdated or mundane tools would you immediately transform into your most clever and essential power?
Until next time, keep exploring.